Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have Gwen. And it has been a while since we've seen Gwen in the jungle because she was strategically and intentionally and violently removed from the role. Because when you have certain things that are too strong, you know, mid lane, jungle, top lane, it becomes a balance issue. And we're seeing that with Silence at the moment. Yes, winner it isn't so good, but you would have seen from the gameplay channel video that I released last week, he's kind of disgusting. Now, Gwen, on the other hand, is not at the moment. Definitely more of a niche way to go. Has a lot of weaknesses, but let's see what she looks like in the current edition of the jungle, because she can still be turbo giga good. You just have to play it correctly. Now, in this particular regard, we are going for a bit of a cheeky level 2 gank. Now, I like that because you want a full clear, really, ideally. You're a sequencer, you're a scaler, you have healing, on hit, max HP damage, bonus resistances, mobility. Gwen has a mute button, you have a slow in your ultimate with the dashy shooting of the scissor blades. You know, this is not a good move to make. But I do like when junglers try unique clears and aggressive paths. You would have seen the runes. We're going for the Conqueror page, standard stuff. And obviously we have the Ghost in Pocket. I do and will be having a Gwen release guide. I'm going to be doing some niche jungle guide releases on the Zarda GG platform. So live companion for her, plus a few other unique ones that, you know, I don't expect many people to use. But if you are into these champions, hopefully it provides you great success. Now, to be said, I do not like the fact that we go for these cheap level 2s when the enemy jungler starts on the top side, because it can open us up to vertical. Now, the plus side here is, why would she do this? Well, we have a Leona, right? We have a Samira, we want a Snowballer, but at the same time, it's an Ezreal Janna. So anyone with a rational mind will go, maybe this is not so good. However, the thing is, we have a Maokai who's getting leashed here and going upside, which means we can afford to go for this and then carry on without risk of, you know, them out-farming us, them counter-jungling us, and all of those worrying things. At the same time, the Maokai could just loop back around and gank this lane and give us this. So there's a lot of mind games to play here when you go for a level 2 against a tank or a jungler like a Maokai or a Sejuani. Now, at this point, I like this play significantly better, going for the invade against champions you know you can beat 1v1, using the mobility. This is very Graves-esque in a way. But again, I do think we're wasting a lot of time. I think we should have been looking straight up. Once we knew the Maokai did the bottom side up, we should have looked straight into kind of getting into his face here. Because look at this. The full clearing Maokai does get, yeah, not low, but low-ish. And it's definitely something like Gwen, who's a strong PvPer, can do things, you know, to and about. Now, the Maokai is going to finish his full clear and probably go up to the gank here with the Aatrox pushing in. We do have the TP committed by the Yone already, but the Gwen should be able to crab, snack, and counter gank. Here we go. Right into the bush. We're going to use our dash, which gives us the extra amplification on our attacks, and we're not going to get anything from it because when you have to use your gap closer and your ghost just to get there, and he, you know, re-engages onto the mini wave to kind of get away from you, re-engages. W's a minion to get away from you, then there's not much you can actually do. And I can hear the pings here. Let me just mute that for you. Apologize for that, because, you know, if you're covering a coaching session for, and I have coaching signups on Patreon, if you guys are ready to, you know, get ready for the new season, but, you know, you watch a silver game, a gold game, a platinum game, even a diamond game, and you listen to the pings in the coaching session, it's not an issue because no one's pinging enough. In high elo, though, on this channel, I mute the pings because all the time people are pinging, communicating. Enemy junglers are like, they're over there, and it's anticipation and reads, and sometimes they're wrong for sure, but the intent is to communicate where they most likely are, you know? So, electron probability cloud, if you get my meaning when it comes to jungle tracking sometimes. So the Yone has not gone back to the top lane. He's going in on our Aatrox, and we're falling back to the side. This was a very disappointingly reserved, yet still risky first rotation. I don't think I've ever said those words before. Yone is going in. Didn't realize that the Gwen had not yet done a bloom. Yes, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Islander. I appreciate you. Never see you again. So this is where the top laners don't track junglers, and the Yone is 100% a guilty party when it came to, hey, look, the Gwen showed up to fight my Maokai, who was level 4. She was level 3. If I just press tab and see 16, no blue, I know she did most likely red into crab. And she still has camps on the blue side here, which, you know, he didn't do, and he goes for all in, and he gets punished for it. She fell back to a blue side. So the level 2, not so good. If you want to go on a 3-side red quadrant clear and do something with Gwen and try and use your PvP and your ghost and your totally balanced kit in terms of what it is, right? And the numbers can be low and she can be weak. We can all agree on that, but in terms of what's in the kit, you could easily go for these kinds of invades. I would like to see most people doing that. Here, of course, we have a ward, which is the most annoying thing. If I see my support sitting and chilling in this bush, and they've been back to base, and it's warded, and I think, they're waiting for me to show up for a gank, and then that happens, you've upset me. I'm not happy with you, support. Don't bait me into a gank because you can't track warding tempos. If I'm busy fighting, getting kills, I'm not going to notice everything. And at the same time, we can try our best as junglers to notice where they're going to ward. And I always tell you, you have to keep clicking around and do those things. But, you know, you will miss some subtle wards. And so we have our Talia actually ganking the bottom lane here while the Leona has gone back to base and is moving up with the Gwen. You'll see that while the Aatrox is surviving and fighting the Tree of Doom. And we're going to keep farming here, which is fine. Samira goes in and does the gaming. The Ezreal's out of mana, so we can dash back in. We put his flash and kill him. I love it when that happens. So, thank you, mid lane, for helping us out there. Now Leona's decided, hey, let's go goon squatting, scanning as we go to make sure we can look for something. We are 5, not quite 6. So we do need to be careful here, but Leona has no flash. If you were timing this in chat and everyone was paying attention to it, that's what this is like. But obviously he has his E for reposition, and he can Q-dash away because apparently everyone needs copious amounts of mobility. Now, we did see the shadow here. You see that? This guy walked up enough that we could see him from our POV. That's lazy pathing by the Maokai. It's better for him to shadow a little bit. Now we know he's there. Although, at the same time, do we want to dive Maokai half HP? I don't know exactly what he's doing to cause this. We're going to get the flash on cooldown from the Yone. Oof, this is a tower dive not that we want. You know, honestly thought that was going to go a little bit better, but at the same time, Gwen just goes passive, snippy, simple with the Q. Center of that is true damage. Can we get a double kill? Yes, we can. We got the Triumph proc. We will have stacked 12 stacks on the Conqueror, but it's not enough. The Jenna gets the kill. That's okay. We'll take that. I'm baby. Well, then, that's simultaneously extremely expected and unnecessary. At the same time, you know, this is the kind of stuff that I think if you're playing Gwen at the moment and you're thinking, hey, should I AFK farm? Should I do that kind of stuff? No, definitely sequence and look for games. Play it like you would a Hecarim or an Udyr. At the same time, I do feel like she's so strong in a PvP sense, generally, that you could always look against, especially against Maokais and weaker matchups in the jungle, you gotta look to exploit it. Don't fall into the trap of just sequencing and ignoring that you can, you know, suppress them in some capacity. So, level 2 gank, don't like too much, like the 3 quadrant into using that E Graves mobility. Didn't like that we were delayed on that invade on the Maokai, but good presence, top lane, fall back to the blue side. Top laner doesn't pay attention to it. We punish that, very nice. Reset, look bottom lane, but it's warded, unlucky, keep sequencing, and then make the dive on the top side when we have the support tempo without mid lane ganking bot lane. So overall, in summary, a solid game read. Again, master tier games, so not challenges, so you will have these mistakes. You won't have these reads be perfect, but don't pretend that you could have done the stuff, you know, in another elo and executed it perfectly. That's why I like these, because it shows you mistakes, but it also makes you realize, okay, look, the mistakes can still be turned into good things if I just make the right decisions afterwards, which we did, and we have, and we will do a little bit of a loop here. We're going to out of base after that, boom, boom, boom. You know, Krugs, Raptors, back to the bottom lane again. We know that the flash was burned from the Ezreal. Hopefully it was pinged by someone. We'll dash again to get our spacing. We're going to start shooting with the ultimate to get that slow. We want to keep stacking up so we can get the Q snippies, and then we, of course, get max HP. And healing from our passive, but it's not enough. And we die, and the Maokai says, haha, oh no. But then he says, aha, again, and there we go, 3-1-1. Deserved Maokai. I mean, I love Maokai, but it's funny when junglers just get cleaned up. At the same time, look, if he saw this, reacted to it, he did what he had to do in that moment, and I think that's the most important thing. If you are a jungler who might be getting, well, I feel like you're getting out-tempoed or not really getting the ganks you wanted to as a tank with that CC, if you see that rotational play, you make it and you get kills back, that's very good for you. Excuse me, throat. Not talking. I gotta warm up again after 2 days of not doing any voiceovers. That would be. So Talia's moving on the mid lane. We have the Leo on the mid lane. Taylor's gonna gank over mid lane. Can we? Oof, good flash. Good flash. Here again, here we see this. You see this? We're looking at this to see. We're looking at this to see. We're not falling to these camps first where you don't. We're not anywhere near level 8, right? So if we're really close to 8, we could justify maybe doing the Gromp and then kind of going for the dive. But I wouldn't really do that in this case anyway, because I think, okay, look, if they're super, super low, all right, we've got 4 points into the queue at this point, just so you are aware of that. I mean, you should be, because that's obviously what we're going to max. But Leona moves on up here, gets the stun, Ignite goes through. Will she die? Nice altar zone from the plant. Well done. You know, that's good support gaming, you know. She took the flame here to heart and then decided to play better. And also just said, you know, playing against Ezreal Janna. I don't want to do that. I'm sorry, I'm leaving. I'm going to play around the Gwen. So 5-2-2. The second death, definitely a little bit unlucky. This one, I'm happy to get 2 for 1, excuse me. Again, we die and I get 2, or if I have 5 kills and I have 2 deaths, I'm okay with that in the first 11 minutes. Like 7 KP and 11 minutes for a Gwen who typically looked in the previous metas just to blindly sequence. Yeah, this is good gaming. And we're going to fall back to the Herald. Just released a short on the main channel, actually, talking about this. Here we're just going to go for the smite into the ult, repositioning our W there. We're using our E initially to empower ourselves. We're not actually going to get anything, and I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of that entire approach. I think I would have preferred to pull the Herald out, wait for them to get a bit deeper so that we could chase a bit longer. Yone is obviously in position to rotate before the Aatrox, so I feel like here's a little bit of a mistake. And then the Maokai says, hey, can I make a mistake too? Gwen. That's the kind of stuff that makes us enraged. Nice dodge on that ultimate. Did you guys see that dodge on the ultimate from the Talia? That was good mechanics. We do enjoy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna clap that. That was nice. No. Good. So the healing here, this is what people kind of forget. It's that you get that max HP damage on hit, magic, and then you heal 50% of set damage, you know, and then your Q applies this passive, and then you've got this thing that just gives you that 17 to 25 bonus resistances, obviously, and then you've got the E here, so which gives you those empowered attacks I'm talking about on hit plus range. So it's a champion. When you couple that with slows in the ultimate, it just does everything. And she's so sticky when she hits that ultimate, and she has Ghost. When she gets going, she's not anything OP or broken, and I'm not trying to oversell. I'm just saying the kit has everything one would need to carry. Now, if you're someone who's like, oh, can I get Master Tier with this? Yeah, of course. This is a Viego Gwen player. Match history is always linked in the description. This player plays Viego and Gwen. These are two trick, essentially, in terms of games played. And you can see that it's possible. The Mark, on the other hand, has decided, hey, can I do something else? He's going for the good build, which is, of course, the Demonics Rush. My Exotic GG Guide has that full build updated as well, because, you know, like, champions like Maokai really needed that Sunfire. And there's no real mythic to build out of it anymore. There's no mythic. The only item that builds out of that is is the Sunfire, and it's a legendary item. So if you're against a lot of magic, right, or a hybrid comp, doesn't have value. So I'm not a fan of making the Sunfire armor only. I know they're trying to say, look, you can't only build that. We want you to think about building other tank items, which, great. But one, it doesn't help when all the fighters are building their items. And then they get nerfed. And it doesn't help that, don't forget the Herald. Totally didn't do that like 2 weeks ago, just by accident as well. I mean, it's amazing that every jungle at some point has probably left a Herald eye. I don't know why it happens to us. It just is one of those things. All expected. So, you know, things like Maokai and Amumu and Zac, that's why they were struggling, because they were so used to building that Sunfires as a core itemization spike. The Maokai decides to go on an adventure into the trees. That ultimate did not hit from the Gwen, and she's done 18 years. Be very cautious when that Cassiopeia makes you stone, because Miasma on top of that is powerful and potent. And even a 1-2-0 Cassio can turn things around, so do be careful. For that dot damage as well. Here we go, nice little crashing of the wave. We're going to use our bonus resistances on that W there when we do survive from that. We might have survived anyway, but it was good to use, obviously, in anticipation. Maybe a little bit overzealous on that dive because the wave was dying. Yeah, a little bit overzealous on that. But again, I'd rather see, this is a great example of, if you're the Leona or you're the Gwen in this particular case, and you think, well, you know, all these high elo coaches and creators and junglers always tell me, you need to go for crashing dives, especially when enemy jungle somewhere else or dead. And we're like, yeah, you need to go for it. But how do we juggle aggro perfectly and look for the waves perfectly? A lot of it is a practice. You know, you need to, like, this dive here was not perfectly executed. The wave wasn't thick enough for that kind of play. The Gwen's able to survive. The enemy team has the ability to use their spells. We kill the tower with the Herald there, and we're going to keep trying to attack. Oof. Close. Good job, Maokai. Demonic's Embrace came through big time there. Trust me on that one. The Leona just got trapped in time and space and died. So this is okay. Like, here, you got a good dive. Again, it wasn't perfect, but we got 2 kills and we died. So do look to play around these scenarios when it comes to dives, and practice. Use juggle. I mean, ideally, a support is going in, taking all of the shots and getting executed, while the rest of you play freely, especially early, but low supports, hell. Professional supports don't even do that. You know, you can just get the execute, and everyone can just live that needs to live and gets the golden experience they need, and you just get the assists as a support, but that requires sacrifice and team thinking, which not everybody has. So now with 7-3-2, all deaths resulted in us getting more than we lost. That's the most important thing. However, the Maokai is also 7-3-2, and his game plan has largely been just put out the fires, shadowing the back of his jungle, right? And kind of just showing up for counter ganks. Here we go, Cassio's in the bottom lane. We're going to make sure, try and dodge as much as we can there. You see the step back there on the ultimate. But the Cassio saved at this particular moment. We're a little bit we're in a bit of trouble here. Trying to get all the words out so quickly, sometimes it happens. We do actually live though. I mean, I would love to see a full breakdown of how much healing the passive gave us. You know, like how it does for Conqueror and everything like that? Because obviously we've got the Conqueror as well. Healing here 439, and those tight situations, the healing on our passive plus the healing on the Conqueror, it does add up. And now again, the Maokai just rotates to a scenario with enemy teams being super aggressive and says, have you heard the good news about the trees? And then he kills you with them. That's what we do. And in the meantime, he is now 8-3-2, we are 7-3-3, and cash money wise, we're 8-6, and, well, Maokai's 8-6, we, GWEN, are 8-2. We're down gold. Because of that kill, because of the shutdowns, because of everything. However, we have finished our jungle pet. That is obviously a good thing to finish. We do have the Gust Walker. We didn't really talk about that, but the Gust Walker is nice for the bush mobility, especially with our flash. It doesn't hurt our ghost as well, and our chase down potential. Chasing through the jungle is going to be fun and juicy. Moss Stomper, however, will also do very, very well. And could you go Scorch Claw? You could, but I don't necessarily think, do we need more slows and more damage? You could say yes in this particular case, but we don't need more damage, right? What we do need a little bit more of is survivability when we want to go in, and also movement speed when we're fighting in bushes. So that, when you're fighting in the jungle from this position, that provides a lot of value. Especially in terms of closing. Like, you run through this bush, you get the movement speed proc, it allows you to get closer with your E, with your ghost, and then of course she does the good work there. Now again, get into their jungle. Yone, Aatrox. Well done. We saw the Maokai shadow here, so we don't want to hang around if the whole team is going to be up. But at the same time, our Samira is bot lane. Maokai, what is this thing? This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, he's done a good job to kind of keep himself relevant. But a lot of the plays he's made and the kills he's gotten have been in response to the GWEN's team forcing an aggression. And, you know, he's rotating as he should, but he's not driving the game at all. He's just cleaning up. And so he's getting fed. But his team is not. Excellent ult by the Leona there to go in. She does get insect a little bit that direction. Maka then goes to the CC. They have a lot of CC. That's why the Moss Stomper could be super good. We dodge the Yone ult on the other side. The Leona's gonna die. So the red team again makes his play, which is what I was talking about. Then the Yone ends up back where he started from and gets exploded, which is obviously what we want. And now the Samira has finally rotated up. GWEN is on this side of the wall. We do have Ghost this time. Maokai goes too deep. So we're going to go over the back line here and be Assassin. No, we missed that proc. We'll just make sure we get it on the Janna there and hopefully get that tick. We'll turn and kill the most important target before finishing the support. Can we chase down this sucker? We can. We'll get the Triumph proc and the heal, but it's not enough. But again, triple kill for the death. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So, yeah. Riftmaker. 511 bonus damage there. Omnivamp. Unhit damage amplification. 1600 on the Nash's Tooth. We have here our own passive healing plus the Conqueror. She is difficult to kill. And the Q stack fully maxed does a lot. Does a lot. So you can feel like as a tank, hey, I can handle this, but it's just... She beats you 1v1. Like, I know even as Volibear, even at the peak of his power, not the tiny stuffed animal that he is at the moment, I could beat a GWEN in the jungle when she was meta. I could beat her pretty easily, can handle my business, even if she was fed, but eventually she'd just get Riftmaker, she'd get Nash's Tooth, and maybe you could hang a little bit depending on itemization choices, but eventually, max HP damage really does do a lot. What are we at now? 3.54. I mean, it looks kind of small now because we live in the AD Udyr meta, but when it's on hit, right? A lot. Just keeps coming, just keeps coming. Free Baron for our team though, and this is the thing, right? the early game was a little scuffy, but we've definitely looked to make proactive plays, and I think that's the most important metric here. We've looked to make proactive plays. We haven't farmed as much as we could have, largely because we've died from making these proactive... Does anyone like Ezreal? I saw an appreciation post for the design. It was like, Ezreal's one of the best designed champions. It's like, no, he's not. He's diseased. He abuses all items in history. Anyone remember mid lane, rune glaive, AP jungle item Ezreal? If you know what I mean, then you know we don't like this champion. We have a full-on skirmish here, and we're just gonna run straight in because we can. We are Gwen, and Gwen is immune. Oh, the Talia gets the kill there on the Jen. A nice rotation over the top. The Yone says, I must go in. My body says I have to. These are the laws. The Maokai says, I'm a tank. I'm going to CC. But you have Demonic's Embrace, guy. You're not really that tanky. Nice stun there onto the Ezreal. Try and block all the orders if possible, and then finish up the kill. We moved our W the one time. And we can go back to base and most likely finish our Shadow Flame. I was going to say Death Cap there. And I was like, we probably don't have enough gold. So good thing I saved myself. Right. Back to base to get good item, nice HP as well. Penetration will do our job here. They can push up without us, it's absolutely fine. The game's turned out quite well, and I think there's a valuable lesson here because most people probably expected, Gwen, jungle, we're just gonna go farming and sequencing, and we know we didn't have a lot going early. There were no kills. The first blood we got was like 4.5 minutes, almost 5 minutes. Not for lack of trying, but why did she go ahead and do that? Because we're against a Maokai. Because we're against a more passive jungler who's going to use CC and try and gank a lot. We are not under threat of the Hecarim, the Udyr, the Lilia to really outfarm us when we got nothing from those plays. And again, Gwen is still good. I mean, she still steps it up quite nicely. Ghost available, 2 smites available. That is nice. We do have a dragon spawning very soon. The Maokai's pathing, as I was talking about, you know, he's swooping side to side most of the game. But if you see people here and here, don't cut in front and get CC, because he keeps doing that here as well. He cuts in front, and it's putting him in a position where he can be abused. Just a little bit of an E. We're going to use that smite to stick to the target there, get the snippies on the Q there. And here's where we want that survivability. You see, like, oh my goodness gracious. But we, of course, have heal and Omnivamp, so we should be okay. But you see, just walking into the Ezreal, snip, 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 force him to disengage. She is a late game hybrid carry. There's no question about it. If you can get to this level of the game, 3 items with Mejai's, you should be able to end and win most games. The Yone is now upset with himself and his team, most likely. I don't think we really need to respect it, guys. I think we can just keep going, you know? I mean, we have Baron. 2 are dead. Although, if we're going to let Ezreal poke us, then we're going to have to leave, which now we kind of do. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it does at the same time. See, now everyone's low. If you just let them poke you out, you're going to have to disengage. That's the problem with this kind of stuff in the late game. If you just all leave and push with intent and determination, then you're fine. But if you just let them sit... Goodness gracious me. Words are difficult. If you just sit there, and Ezreal pokes you out, or Vel'Koz pokes you out, then of course you have to leave, because they're going to respawn. You get ace, you give them an ocean... What the hell is this? What is this? Green dragon. Chemtech dragon. I'm not even going to pause out. They surrender, thank goodness. My mind was decaying from this whole entire game being what it was, but hey, we got to the end just about. We fell across the finish line, but we got there nonetheless. So, 15-4-7. What did we learn? We learned that Gwen jungle is more than viable if you are good at Gwen and understand the champion's limitations. If you are forcing yourself to make a few more proactive plays than you otherwise would, given the history of the champion's tendency to farm a lot. At the same time, I would not go for level 2 ganks on mobile laners. If you want to do that, I would try level 3 sequencing down. I think that's a way better concept. And if you're confident beating someone 1v1, then do the red side quadrant, just cut in, especially at the full clearing, and you have that vision. It can add a lot of value to your aggressive early game. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, Patreon has your coaching signups and coaching VODs if you just want to watch coaching. With ZardoGG Live Companion Guides to have me over your shoulder guiding you, like, fatherly nurturing of your jungling. And don't forget to like, share, and comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Check out the main channel for all the shorts you would like. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.